Hey guys, Music Lover 93 here.
And hi, I'm Michael, Sam's boyfriend.
And yes, Michael and I are officially in a relationship because it was first revealed in my music channel. Today is a special kind of a video since it's not going to be a Music Rama video. And I know reaction videos are going to be coming up like sometime in the future whenever we see each other again. However, this is a special kind of a video that we're actually going to be talking about this since it was mentioned a couple of times as like part of it from the SoundCloud. It is Michael's audio biography.
That's right.
And he told me that it was recorded in October and 2 months later it was posted on SoundCloud of 2015. So yes, that'll be 7 years ago now. So
that's right, babe. Yeah.
That's why we're doing this, and this is something that will be really fun to because it's pretty much the people who don't know more about Michael DeSisto when it comes to and especially part of it how he got into like musical talents. That part of it we can probably talk about in the future videos for how you got into it. Mm-hmm. I know it's part of it, but I'm actually going to do it by phone because it's in audio. And we're going from the years in the editing from 1993 to 2015.
That's correct, babe. So before we play anything, I just want to explain. I had to create this audio biography back in 2015. For one of the pre-music therapy courses I had to take when I went for pre-music therapy at SUNY New Paltz. And I had graduated in 2016, the year after I had to create this project. So what this project is about is music from me as a baby till 2015, like when I had to do the project. And this audio biography includes different soundscapes, songs that I love to listen to, songs that I like to sing. It even includes me singing as a child.
Yes, this part we'll definitely talk about that one, and yes, we will. What we're gonna do right here for this video basically is I'm actually gonna pause a little bit so I can, some parts so I can get to like questions. It's like I'm interviewing you. Mm-hmm. To how do you do this and do that. This is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing it. Okay. Since that Michael explained about how the audio biography was made, since he mentioned he was doing this at SUNY New Paltz, when it's and that's how it's posted and recorded. All right. Without further ado, let's just hear his audio biography.
When I was in the womb, my mother was singing at jazz concerts.
It's your mother singing, right?
That is correct. This is Louisiana Fairy Tale, to be exact.
This is pretty much the birth year.
This is a soundscape
I was born in
from New York City.
Uh-huh.
The first movement of the Mozart Symphony in G minor, it was number 40.
When I was a baby, I listened to Mozart's 40th Symphony. By the time I was 2, I could sing the melodies to each movement.
Okay, so it was mentioned that you did the melody on each movement of Mozart's 40th Symphony, and yes, it was actually mentioned when we talked about it in our autism video about that. But we'll get to other one when we get to.
I also sang themes I heard on television, like Jeopardy!
Oh yes, the Jeopardy theme. Who doesn't forget that?
And Star Trek The Next Generation.
Okay, yes, now, I think it probably counts for you started singing at the age of 2.
Correct.
So that makes it 26 years you've been singing.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's like, probably style would be like lyrics and stuff like that, but I'll still probably count as that one. But yeah, I was just like, now I know some people will be like, how do you even is to know about this at a young age?
Well, I mean, I definitely had a taste in music at that age because I really loved how those theme songs sounded. Jeopardy's theme especially, and Star Trek The Next Generation, I really loved that theme, starring Captain Picard, and Captain Picard played by Patrick Stewart. I really those themes like really meant something to me when I was 2. When I was a kid.
It's definitely incredible how you done this at the age of 2.
Thank you, honey.
Especially doing on Mozart's 40th Symphony, and that's like, and it's in G minor specifically. Once you mention 2 flats, that's G minor.
Yep, and the relative major of that is B flat major. But yep, this is G minor, of course.
This is pretty much Michael's knowledge of music and the Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, this is how we got into it. Alright, so let's get to more of this stuff for the later life. This is New York City life. Now we get to when we move to upstate.
Yep. This is a soundscape of like upstate.
When I was 3, I moved to Woodstock, New York.
Woodstock, West Hurley,
Yep.
pretty much same.
This is one of my favorite songs by Sting called If I Ever Lose My Faith in
As
You.
I got older, I started to sing rock songs. I especially loved Sting.
Pretty good song. I love
Yep.
Sting. Squeeze.
Yep. Squeeze song
And
Tempted.
the band Squeeze.
Not too many people know about this band because my mom knows Squeeze.
The song is from the album East Side Story.
Oh yes, that's how you
That's
got
on the same
bowling,
album.
I found out that I had a passion for bowling.
which
Yep.
that counts as age probably 5 or 6 years old.
I did leagues for many years.
Now, if you've been wondering, what does it have to do with the music video?
Well, it's a soundscape because soundscape is like like the ball is on the lane and the pins are about to knock down. And I know it doesn't sound like music, but a soundscape is sounds that also really affect your life. Because as I said, I've been on a leagues. I did league bowling for many years. I haven't been able to do league bowling now since my schedule's been tight, but I've always enjoyed doing bowling one day a week when I was young, and up till my second year of college I did bowling one day a week in a league, and then I had to stop doing that, and then I would do it a summer adult league starting in 2013. Then after a while I had to give that up because as the audio biography goes on, there's gonna be something that I've been doing over the summer that I'll be talking about later on, which is the Woodstock Playhouse.
Yeah, so that will be we actually mentioned about that one in our autism video as well.
Also, before we continue, we were talking about the sweet song "Tempted." Yeah, that's been one of my favorites. It's off the album East Side Story, along with another good Squeeze song called "In Quintessence."
I don't think I've heard of this one, but I know Black Coffee in Bed.
Yep, and the song is also featured on the same album as Black Coffee in Bed. I can't remember the album title off the top of my head, but Tempted is on more than one Squeeze album, I know for a fact.
Yeah, I can tell there's 2 different singers for that one, because Tempted is I don't know
And
what the
nobody
singer's name.
and nobody and after you heard Tempted and then the bowling part, you can't go wrong with hearing bowling sounds.
Yeah, so that's just pretty much that one's to how you got into bowling, and yes, I've actually probably started getting into it probably at that same age when you did too. Okay.
Now the next part that you're gonna hear is I'm actually gonna be singing for you guys as a child.
Yeah.
I sang on this radio ad at age 8.
Yep. A parody of this little light of mine. It's this little smile of mine.
In 3rd grade, I learned how to play the recorder.
This is something unusual that nobody was not mentioned that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now before we continue for that one, yes, I know it was like already revealed something. Now you probably have been wondering if you're probably thinking it was a different kid singing, but it turned out and it's the truth. It is actually Michael singing as a kid. It was him at age 8.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Now, my question is, how did you get those recordings from sound recordings of you singing as a kid?
Well, my father has a recording studio, and we used his recording studio to do this project that I had to do when I was in. This was actually 3rd grade. I hold in my hand, and then the thing you're gonna hear after that is another project that I had to do in 4th grade. I actually wrote a song, and my audio biography will tell you all about that.
Yeah, so let's hear more about that because there are more recordings of Michael singing as a kid.
And the violin.
And his violin playing.
This is me playing and singing.
Same age this is where you started playing. This is Jingle Bells.
Yep, I was a beginner violin player back then.
When it was mentioned you were 8.
In 4th grade, I wrote the song for a school project.
So you're a songwriter at age 9?
Yep, I wrote the song at age 9. It's called I Can Be Brave.
What? That is just unbelievable. How do you got into writing songs, baby?
I remember there was another project going on that year. I can't remember what it was. I was in 4th grade when this happened, and I wrote this song in 2003. Well, I thought writing the song would actually be cool. I got I had help. I had a little help writing the song with my parents, of course, especially the part that says "I'll ride the wave," because wave rhymes with brave.
Yeah, I will definitely admit it's really hard to write your own stuff, especially no matter how old you are. It's you gotta have some creative ideas. But yeah,
Indeed. I even I know I'm skipping a little ahead. However, I did write a couple of songs a few years ago with the help of this guy named James Glasgow. Yeah. And I had to write 2 songs in 8 weeks, and they came out really good. They were called Around the House and The Perfect Date for Me.
Yes, that was actually one of them that I was mentioning, the perfect date for me when it was on my when Michael decided to chose that for my birthday. And I want to thank you for doing this.
You are very welcome, hon.
Thank you so much. You're the best for doing this.
Thank you.
You definitely know how to. You're definitely very creative when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, let's continue. Oh yes. This is like a children's kind of. It was like a channel called Noggin.
Yep, it was definitely a children's channel.
Around the same time, I sang songs used in commercials.
It's just unbelievable you doing this. It's not recognizable here. And then.
And in dolls.
So you're about still 9 or 10 years old when this was recorded?
Yeah, I believe. Yep.
Like, you mean 9 or 10?
Yep, 9 or 10.
Oh, okay. Wow. And this one,
The Bunny Hop.
I could tell it's like for kids too.
Yep.
I think you can't teach kids to dance something. Okay, now, You know, it's just actually unbelievable to hear one why you're definitely the interesting guy here, because knowing that you're a prodigy at that age, you when you did singing and being a musician, even at a young age like that, you actually know how to carry a tune, and it's pretty obvious to that one, and especially knowing that that you have autism. It's not revealed until like much later right there, but it is pretty obvious why you're autistic to begin with, especially knowing that much talent. But I know you mentioned this as a kid. You're way different compared to like when as you're growing up.
Absolutely correct. And the age that I found out that I had the autism was 13.
Yes, and that was actually probably was mentioned just a little bit later about when we get to that one.
There's some like 8th grade stuff that'll be featured as we continue listening to this audio biography that I had to do.
Yes, and then there'll be more of those that's coming from from music, from songs that was played. Oh, yes, Alan Jackson.
In 5th grade, I sang and played Little Bitty at a talent show.
Oh, you did talent shows. You were 10.
So, with that song, I actually performed it with my parents and my my first ever private violin teacher back in 2004, I think, or 5? 2004, probably. Little Bitty was one of my top favorite Alan Jackson songs, and I really wanted to learn how to play that piece on the violin.
That's actually pretty interesting because, even though I'm not really a big fan of country music, I thought this one is a really good song. There are some country songs I do like. I like it more upbeat, not like that it's super slow. But this is a pretty good one. Yeah, so
right.
Thank you for sharing for that one.
You're welcome. Next.
Okay, so the next one right here is we'll get to the next one that's in the time when at age 11.
Yeah.
And this is probably had to do with your doing math.
In 6th grade, I wrote this song for a math project.
And I can tell you're a little older there because you're like 11 years old, and that explains the age.
Yep.
So I remember you're telling me that probably before this was happened. Was it mentioned that you failed before this one's like turned out to be before, and then this one turned out to be successful or something?
Well, I didn't quite fail. I actually got a D the first time on this specific one because I didn't realize that there was like a sheet where I had to include specific stuff in the song or whatever kind of project you wanted to do, like on a specific number. So I actually redid the project at a later time, and I ended up getting a better grade.
Well,
my teacher that year was kind of tough, and she was nice, but she was kind of strict as what she was strict too. And I actually had a hard time understanding, the kind of math that I had to learn that year. And this was in 6th grade, by the way.
Yeah, that is actually explains you having a difficult time. Yeah, you're still a kid at the time. You just had to have difficult understanding stuff because back then you didn't know any better.
Yeah, but
at least this one is turned out, be really.
I still wrote a good song, like for the first time around, even though I should have gotten a good grade the first time. My parents didn't even think that I wrote the song incorrectly or whatever. I thought I had a good grade coming my way.
Yeah,
because they all loved the song too when they heard it the first time.
I actually don't have an issue with that either because I don't understand why why you had a D on this one when it turned out to be very creative too. You don't see too many kids, especially back in those days when it comes to writing songs when doing it for school projects.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely rare how this happened, because you don't, especially who are actually on the autism spectrum like you.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, let's continue on. The next one is like a little DJ thing that I had to do.
Yep. I think this is probably the time you're still 11 years old.
Yep. Correct.
This is a DJ song that I created for another school project.
I can tell it's a DJ. And specific, it's like more like a kid's DJ.
Mhm.
Yeah. That explains it. And the rhythm is right, actually.
Yep. Now this is the Flying Fiddlers. This is a fiddle group that I.
Flying Fiddlers for a few years.
And this one is actually like an Irish tune.
This is a fiddle group that I played with for a few years. This is a piece called Swallowtail Jig.
Yep.
There's a couple of pieces I'll share with you.
Yes, of course, babe. Yep. More.
Now this is a very sweet fiddle tune that Jay Unger wrote. Jay Unger, I happen to know this fiddle player. This is called A Shokin Farewell.
Oh yes. That one's. Yep, you can definitely hear more orchestra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting.
And we're gonna hear one more.
Oh yes.
The Little Drummer Boy.
Who doesn't forget Little Drummer Boy? Especially for Christmas.
Yep.
Oh yes. 2006 was the year.
Yep. The spring 2006 concert at middle school. We played Green Day
The
songs,
middle school orchestra played a medley of Green Day songs.
starting with Basket Case.
Yes, and the audio of Green Day songs explains that you actually played 3 songs
Yep.
for the orchestra.
There's American Idiot.
Yeah, that one was. You mentioned you guys played that too. One of the popular ones is Who Doesn't Forget Green Day, especially as a kid.
Here comes one more.
Oh yes, my favorite, Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
That's right. Ryan got me into this song, actually.
Oh yes, because punk rock is definitely excellent. Oh yes, before we get to it, this is also another thing that it was mentioned before in the oh yes, in the Music Facts first episode of Music Facts Ramen, we talked about the Beatles, which you can definitely hear what it sounds it sounds like in this one. So let's get ready for this one. Yes, it's Eleanor Rigby. I recognize.
Yep, I got to conduct. I actually conducted this piece 2 months before I found out that I have autism.
Yes, that's what you meant. How that happened before you was diagnosed autism. Yes, 2007's the year.
Yep.
And in fact, Eleanor Rigby is meant to be played at an orchestra because that's what it was originally played. Ah yes, Wizard's Walk.
That's right.
This is my favorite fiddle tune, A Wizard's Walk.
Also by Jay Unger, the guy who wrote A Shokin Farewell, from what you heard before from the Flying Fiddlers.
Nobody recognized what this name of the piece is or never heard it before. I think that's true. It's definitely amazing.
This is me and my B-sharp quartet from middle school to high school.
Here is the B-sharp quartet playing Momentum.
Oh yes. Now we'll get to the part is the high school years.
Yep. The summer before I started 8th grade was when we became a quartet, actually.
Yep, this is the one. Okay. Now this is pretty much like the violin part. The next part, now this is probably before it was like played. Now we get to like the one you got into like the double bass.
Yep, the next thing is actually one of the fun things that I played on double bass with my my mother's jazz group that played it. We did this at Bard College back in November of 2010, like not too long before Thanksgiving that year.
And didn't you mention you started playing the bass? I think when you were in 10th grade or 11th grade or something like.
I started playing upright bass the summer going into my junior year of high school. So, summer of 2009 was when I first started playing upright bass.
Oh, okay. So you're
It was like mid July.
Still 15 years old at the time when you. Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah, so that's where you got into playing the bass. Okay, now we get to the interesting part because now we get to like jazzes.
I sat in on this piece, 7 Come 11 by Benny Goodman.
At 17, I sat in on bass with the Benny Goodman Tribute Band.
It's probably 2010 or
2010.
Yeah,
Right.
This is senior year. Now we get to 2011.
Yep, this is the first time I heard this REM song.
R.E.M.
Mine's called Mine Smell Like Honey.
And it definitely, definitely showing that it's one of your favorite REM songs, right?
Yep. When I first heard this song on Radio Woodstock 100.1, I was like, wow. The words dig a hole got me into it. Here's one of my favorite Daughtry songs.
Yes, Daughtry.
This is the song Renegade.
Also a huge fan of Daughtry.
And I'm glad I actually chose that one to play this for, okay, before we get to the next part, yes, this is actually one of them that I, played for your birthday this year.
That's correct, and thank you for doing that, babe. And, the words that got me into this song were the words turning wheels.
Yes.
And whenever I hear those words, I do this to my finger, I do a little spin.
Oh yes, the turning wheels part is really good. And yes, no matter what was going on with the turning wheels part, I could just enjoy the chords part. It's such an easy song to play on the guitar, and I'm glad I could do it. In fact, I'm actually going to plan to play this again, and we could do a duet, and we'll do and Michael do the singing, and I'll do the playing.
Sounds great.
Because I know how much you love Daughtry.
I do.
Oh yes.
I do. Thank you, babe.
I'm glad I'm doing this for you with the doing this cover. Okay, now get to like 2012. Now that part is probably was played that I haven't mentioned this before, and it's probably this part of it is actually that Michael only had like one video on YouTube that was when this happened, and it's Mozart's Fifth Violin Concerto in
A major.
Yep, it's an A, and it was in a recital. So let's hear
about this. It was a recital for my one of my other private teachers I had.
Oh,
Her name was Christine Rosenberg.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Here's some of it.
Who doesn't forget our favorite composer?
Yep.
In 2012, I played a Mozart concerto at a recital in Kingston.
And the video is actually shown. I'm actually gonna put it in the description below because I think it's in a church or something.
Yep, it is in a church.
Because I can already tell by the glass window things. Yes. You definitely seems like you had fun doing this recital at age 18.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
now this is Russian Christmas music by Alfred Reed, and this is
playing the bass part to Russian Christmas
I have a 32 measure walking bass line, and I have played this piece with both the SUNY Ulster Wind Ensemble,
the
SUNY Ulster Community Band, and then SUNY Newport Symphonic Band did this as well.
It definitely sounds beautiful, and I think I've heard of this one before. It sounds.
Right. So, the first time I played it, when I played it with the Wind Ensemble, that was in 2012. It was the winter concert, and then 3 years later, in 2015, I actually reprised it with both the Symphonic Band and the community and the SUNY Ulster Community Band. The Symphonic Band was at Newport's.
So yeah, now we get to like college years when these recordings. So this is now we get to more of the stuff that's mentioned. It was recorded at recitals at SUNY Ulster. Yeah, that was especially when you're still doing violin. I think before you moved on.
I was still doing some violin. Eventually I wanted to do more with the bass.
Yep.
I felt like I had more bass fans than violin fans out there as I got older.
Yeah. So, before we get to the next part, so what year when you started moved on from the violin?
I pretty much moved on from taking private lessons on the violin in 2014.
2014.
I was still doing a SUNY Ulster String Ensemble on violin, and I was also doing the SUNY New Paltz College Youth Symphony Orchestra on Sunday evenings with the violin. I was playing second violin in that orchestra, and I played first violin in the string ensemble.
Oh, okay. Now the next one, I'm just gonna play this one.
This is me at one of the honors recitals that I did in 2012.
Oh, I know
I
this
played
piece.
several honors recitals
Yep.
at SUNY
It's
Ulster.
Tias by Jules Massenet.
I know that piece. I've heard this so many times. It's definitely in an orchestra or something. But yeah, this is really interesting.
On violin.
What's this? What is this?
Oh yeah, this is not a well-known piece. It's called The Garten by Paul Hertel.
Oh, okay. Oh, and now we get to the bass part, which I'm assuming is one of the G minor sonatas.
Yep.
On bass.
Which one of the underrated composers.
Eccles.
Yeah. Now we get to like Broadway.
Yep. This was my first ever
Bass for anything goes.
Broadway gig.
Now
I
we
did
get
this
to
at
Broadway.
Rondout High School.
Oh, was that a high
I played,
school?
and this was Anything Goes, and the song is called You're the Top.
It's definitely interesting here. Oh yeah, so we'll never forget Clementi. Piano. Now we get
Yep.
to piano.
Performed my first honors recital on
Uh-huh.
piano.
I started taking piano lessons in 2013.
Yep. Now we
During
get.
my like extra and last year at SUNY Ulster, I took piano lessons for.
And this was actually, got this one in 2014 when it's like, now we get to that one when it was in the SoundCloud. Oh yes, who doesn't forget it? Okay, now question:
Yes.
when you started playing the piano?
Well, as I just mentioned, I started taking lessons the fall semester of 2013. I took private lessons with Ed Levitt.
Oh, okay.
And that piece that you just heard, the Sonatina in C major by Clementi, that was my. I actually performed that at a convocation the second semester I took piano lessons, which was spring of 2014. And I found out that I actually made honors recital with that piece, and I reprised it in the month of May, like 2 weeks before I graduated with with an associate's.
That piece is actually that I recently learned that one, which it'll be coming to my channel very soon. All three movements of this sonatina. Yeah, I'll definitely promise I'll get that one as soon as possible when I get to classical pieces. Oh yes, and this one you definitely may heard it in probably one of Michael's very old Facebook videos when it comes to like guitar and like doing music videos on guitar. So now we get to the part when we get to acoustic. So we get to like 2015. Yeah,
Yep.
2015.
Uh-huh.
Ah yes, Fields of Gold by Sting.
That's right. Fields of Gold.
And the difference is it was in a C major instead of D major.
Right.
Excuse me. And you sounded very lovely there.
Thank you, babe. So, before we continue, I just want to say something about Fields of Gold. So, I actually wanted to learn how to say and sing this piece. It was for a class voice class that I had to take at SUNY New Paltz. I did it in spring of 2015. And this was also my final performance of the semester. As you were like, as we were like singing every class, this piece was my final piece, actually. Like for a final.
Okay. Now the next one, it was actually mentioned in the autism video, and we get to that since you mentioned the Woodstock Playhouse. Now we'll get to that one.
You're about to hear a clip of my very first ever Woodstock Playhouse gig, and that was Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Yep. Summer 2015.
My first professional gig on bass at the Woodstock Playhouse last summer.
The old Sweeney Todd. And it's cool that you're still doing this today when it comes to doing it when you get to next summer. When
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing musicals. Now this one's different.
Now, this was actually in Music Therapy Methods and Materials.
With Vince.
And this isn't a crappy sound quality because it's like so different it sounds.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yep, this is you playing the bass, I think.
And him, him singing and me playing bass. And now here's me singing. Me singing about Vince.
It's hard to hear for a little bit of the last part, though.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun project. All right, but so we have now come to the very last part of the audio biography. The last part is me playing piano on a song that I learned in 2015, the same semester that I took Music Therapy Methods and Materials, the class that I had to do this project back in October of 2015. The song that I play on piano is called "The Nearness of You." I think that's the right tune. Yeah.
Yes.
I also I was taught that piece in Piano 3 Jazz and Popular Styles, which was a course that was recommended for pre-music therapy majors.
So, oh yeah, when you did the singing part in that one, when you said about Vince, what were you saying in the last part? Because it's hard to hear with the crappy sound quality, like the last part of the lyrics.
His name is Vince, and those are his hobbies. But he sees himself as a music therapist.
The music therapist. This is the part
Let's go back to that part for just 1 second. Then we'll hear the last part
Okay, we'll get to like a little bit to 13. Yeah, that's where it started. Okay. Yeah, because it's really hard to hear.
Yep. Basketball. As a music therapist.
That part is really like, okay, yeah, that's why I was just trying to try to catch that part, what you were saying, that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a clearer quality, I would understand you, or sorry if I sound a little nitpicky on that one.
No, it's okay, yeah, it's a little, the recording is it's a little hard to hear, but, that's what we did back in October.
Yeah, that's one good thing I asked you about this. You're here. All right, now
here comes the very ending.
Yeah, we're almost done with the video, so let's hear that. And this is a great way to end the audio biography.
For Piano 3 Jazz, I played an arrangement of "The Nearness of You." Thank you for listening.
Okay, so that is it for the audio biography. And now, at closer to 2023, and even since the day after Thanksgiving, on Black Friday, you finally found a girlfriend who shares the same music interests and also being musicians. And most importantly, you definitely and I will be perfect for each other. I would definitely say you're definitely a great narrator, Michael.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm glad you're doing this. Well, this is pretty much a longer video. Yes, it is meant to be long like that just because of the whole point about the story.
Oh, yeah.
And also get to questions. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video.
And thank you all for listening to my music life from when I was born until 2015.
Yep, this is pretty much like the years from 1993 to 2015. Yeah, so hope you guys have a great Christmas and also like getting close to the end of 2022. This is Music Lover 93 signing out.
Have a good night, Lias.